About 3 years ago, we were looking into what we could do at the press to more tightly bind what we're doing to the new initiatives that are taking place on campus. And we were also consulting faculty about what they needed out of the publisher on campus. What they wanted was something completely new.
The reason we undertook the Interactive Scholarly Works program at the Stanford University Press was really to make it possible for there to be peer-reviewed, technically reviewed, interactive scholarly works from the digital humanities and computational social sciences communities that might be useful in considerations for appointments, promotions, and tenures in academic institutions.
What we wanted to do was create a parallel stream to our book program that allowed these digital objects to be formally published. We needed resources to do that, and we were really grateful to the Andrew W. Mellon Foundation for giving us the generous grant that has allowed us to get full-time employees within the press who can dedicate their time to actually thinking about these hard questions.
We're looking for projects that make use of web technology to make arguments in novel ways. Our goal is to support scholars who are already working in the computational medium to publish their work in the same medium in which they're conducting their research. We are focusing on projects that make arguments, that offer an interpretation, and they're united by being visually driven, interactive, and multimodal.
So the main reason that my project cannot be published in a print format as easily is this notion of pairing different media. Enchanting the Desert is based on a single historical document, which is a 45-photograph slideshow made in the early 20th century by a photographer named Henry Peabody. And in Enchanting the Desert, I create a geography of this photographic portrait of the Grand Canyon, which helps visually investigate the processes of cultural transformation in the region at that time. So it's a project that's based on photography and an attendant cartography. As the pilot author in Stanford University Press's digital publishing initiative, so I was really interested in working with editors who were flexible in the way that I approached building the site. That's something that was really valuable to me, and that I think the editors and the team and the designers at Stanford University Press were really good at giving me leeway to make sure that my authorial voice came through in the design of the website.
So we start our conversations quite early with authors. We work with authors on creating a proposal. Proposals are quite similar to book proposals, but we ask that they include explanations of the technical aspect of the project. We look for 3 to 4 reviewers, and those reviewers cover a range of aspects. We seek scholars who work in the same content as our authors, and we seek scholars who have experience in creating these kind of digital projects to think through presentation methods and structure of scholarship, of arguments.
What do my colleagues think of this? What do they make of it? How do they want me to improve upon this? Do they think it should even see the light of day? I think those are absolutely necessary dimensions of critical scholarship. And what I love about the new initiative at Stanford University Press is that it brings in spatial history, social network analysis, various aspects of DH, but it also merges them together with critical, long-standing practices of peer review. China in the contemporary period is undergoing almost unimaginably rapid and complex change. And one of these changes that captured my attention is the mass relocation of human remains. And so collaborating with a team here at Stanford University, led by my colleague David McClure, we built the first ever spatial history augmented narrative platform to capture, describe, and try to tell some of the stories that come out of this phenomenon. It has been truly eye-opening. Working with Stanford University Press has been tremendous. This is an initiative that not just any press, however prestigious, can undertake and execute as precisely and with as much vision as SUP has.
So once we've awarded a contract, we work closely with an author to develop the project until publication. So far, it's been a closer process than it has been in the print world. We go back and forth with the author, with our technical team, with their technical team, to really create a publication that fits our needs as publishers as well as the author's needs as scholarly communicators.
Unlike print publications, the development of this project has been a collaborative effort at every step of the way and has brought me into the orbit of some extraordinary technologists at my home institution and has introduced me to a broader network of digital humanists. The basic idea behind my project is to draw attention to the oral poetic traditions of the Mahra of Yemen and Oman, roughly 200,000 people who have maintained their unwritten indigenous language, and this in the face of a broad historical trend towards the adoption of Arabic in the Middle East and especially on the Arabian Peninsula. Going further, the project aims to provide a window onto how poetry is formulated in a strictly oral context. And this is achieved through an interactive display that will allow visitors to the site to walk through the process of poetic creation, from the moment of initial inspiration to final considerations. So this type of curated exploration of the process would be virtually impossible to recapitulate in a print monograph.
Upon publication, we work with our marketing team to advertise the project, to promote it through similar channels as our print publications. We also work with Stanford Libraries to archive our projects, to offer long-term sustainability for them and long-term access for projects.
And that's something that we really wanted to consider for this program, because a publication really becomes a valid academic publication through its longevity. If we were to be publishing these and having them go dead within 2 years, that really wouldn't serve the purposes of the academic community. We want them to have the same kind of permanence as a print publication.
This publication means a great deal for my academic career. It's really important for 3D scholarly content that it can be evaluated and accessed by my peers in the larger field. My project uses a 3D model and geographic information systems to investigate the ancient Egyptian necropolis of Saqqara. So my project can't be published in a print format because it is three-dimensional, it's dynamic, it's experiential, and it considers things like shape, color, texture, and movement through spaces in this 3D world. So that's something that just really can't be expressed on black and white in between the covers of a book. Stanford University Press is interested in doing some creative things, and they're willing to publish something where we don't actually know what the outcome is going to be yet. So they're taking some risks, and I think that's an exciting place to be.
So the biggest challenge has been that we're starting this program from scratch. There's nobody else doing anything like this, so we had to think through some very basic questions. Questions like, what kind of projects can we support within the workflow of our publishing processes? What kind of projects can we peer review? What do scholars need from us?
The goal here is that this isn't only a learning opportunity for Stanford University Press. This is a learning opportunity for all of scholarly publishing. And we've committed to being as open as we possibly can about our processes, the problems that we've encountered, and the solutions that we have developed for each of these issues as we encounter them.
So why should Stanford be involved in this? And that has to do with the integration of Stanford as a generative element itself in Silicon Valley, and then the influence of Silicon Valley and all these disruptive or potentially disruptive technologies coming to the toolkit of ordinary mortals.
And so if venturing into DH feels anxiety-producing or, uncertain, just know that there are already a whole lot of great and brilliant people there ready to meet you at the door and work alongside you towards something you didn't even know was possible.